In this video, we're going to be taking a look at if the 2015 MacBook Air is still worth getting in 2025. The 2015 MacBook Air has a nice slim design which Apple used for many years in their MacBook Airs. The design is very slim and sleek. It's made fully out of aluminium, which makes it feel very premium in the hands, and it's very well built as well. The display on this laptop though is a pretty big shortcoming. It's got pretty big bezels all around it, and it's not very high resolution either. It's below 1080p, which is quite low. Even 5 years ago it was pretty low, so now in 2025 this display is a real shortcoming of this laptop. The keyboard and trackpad on the other hand are really nice to use. The trackpad is a bit small compared to more modern Apple products, but it's still very nice to use. As for the keyboard, it's a pretty decent keyboard. It's very similar to the ones you see on the modern MacBooks now. It's got plenty of travel, it's backlit as well, and the spacing on the keys are pretty good as well. Now as for port selection, these laptops don't have a great deal of ports. They have all your bare essentials, but they don't have any USB Type-C or Thunderbolt 3 ports. So for a lot of people, this is getting quite old. Now what about battery life? Since these laptops are quite old, you'll most likely be buying them used. There are probably a few out there that are still brand new, but for the most part, these are all going to be used, and the battery life on these really isn't that great when you buy them used, considering they are probably around 10 years old, depending on when the user bought it. And so the battery usually lasts about 2 to 3 hours, which is okay. Now, obviously, if you get one in better condition, then it might last 4 or 5 hours, but it's still not great in 2025. And changing the batteries on these isn't always good either, unless you get a very good battery. If you just buy a cheap one from eBay or AliExpress, then usually they won't last very long either, and you can have other issues with them as well. But if you buy a genuine unit or a reputable brand and replace it, you'll have great battery life. Now, using these in 2025 is not the greatest experience anymore because it does lack processing power. They only came in dual core processors, and they came up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is fine, but majority of them have either 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, and majority of them out there only have Intel Core i5 processors, and they're clocked at a very low clock speed as well, which does just make the whole laptop feel very slow. But they do all have SSDs in them, which does make them boot relatively quick, as well as open applications pretty quick as well. But I wouldn't use this laptop for anything too intense on the processor. Another thing to note is that obviously since these are 10 years old, software updates have stopped quite a while ago for these, so you will be stuck on older software. So if you are looking to get one of these, how much should you be looking to pay? Me personally, I wouldn't spend anything over 200 Australian dollars on one of these laptops, because around that price you can actually get yourself a 2015 MacBook Pro, which is what I got, and they are far better. They've got graphics cards inside, they've got quad-core processors, they've got better battery life, a better screen, and just an all-around better laptop, and that usually costs around 200 to 300 Australian dollars. So if you are looking at a MacBook Air, I wouldn't go anything over 200 Australian dollars for a reasonably spec'd one with at least an i5 and 8 gigabytes of RAM, as well as at least 256 gigabytes of SSD storage. And if you're looking around on eBay and Facebook Marketplace, you might find yourself some really good deals for 100, 150 Australian dollars. So if you do find one for that price, they are a pretty good laptop. They can still surf the web fine, and they do most basic tasks pretty fine. It's just when you do more CPU intense things, they do start to struggle. So hopefully this video did help you out. If it did, drop a like on the video. If it didn't, drop a dislike on the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.